Hey guys, welcome to part 6 of the June food forest tour. Hope y'all are doing well. This is the peach tree right here on the end after we're just looking at the pomegranates right there, and over here to the peach tree. Most of the peach trees were dropped this year. You can see one up there that's been severely hit, and I think that may be the only one left on the tree. But as I was mentioning in one of the previous videos, I am really thinking that the plum curculio is not going to be as big of an issue next year, just due to all of the beneficial insects that are living in all these wild plants that I'm letting grow wild around here. And it's just given a source of food, it seems like, and also shelter for those beneficial insects to take cover and ambush the other insects that were basically, eating some of the trees and especially targeting the fruit. I really haven't had any pests actually damaging the trees, like borers or anything else like that. And mainly it's been the ones that I've had here. They've been damaging the fruit, like the plum curculio. And just looking over, you can see this tree is so much happier than it was last year. It put maybe on, I'd say, 6 inches maybe of growth up in the top section last year, and it's already put on almost that much already just this year, and it looks like it's really healthy, and got some side shoots that are probably going to start coming out of all these new shoots too. So it's looking really happy with all the soil that I added around it. And it wasn't super healthy soil at all that I put here, so I've been growing, trying to have a lot of things growing right here around it to kind of develop the soil. And as that stuff's dying, it's naturally becoming a mulch that'll be just increasing the soil moisture and fertility. And I dug here the other day, I planted I think a hardy kiwi in there somewhere. Oh yes, down there. And I think there's the muscadines on this one right here that's growing up. It's kind of right in there. You can see the muscadines, some of the muscadine leaves. It's slowly getting going after being transplanted. But you can see there's some lettuce growing down here. Lots of wild stuff too, for sure. Mostly some of these wild grasses, and it seems to be in some dock growing right around here. Also got the peas though right here. This pea right here on the right, it was doing probably the best, but I think a rabbit actually got it at the very bottom, because I looked down there and it looked like cut from rabbit teeth. So I was like, why is this pea that was doing amazing all of a sudden just going out? But it looks like a rabbit got to it, unfortunately, or something else. Could have been a bug or something. But I got some peas off of one pea pod off of it, and I'm probably not get that one right there that might have a few viable pea seeds in it. And as you can see, these are really starting to put off here. These pea plants got a lot of good clusters forming. So really excited to see them doing well despite our hot weather here. Some more lettuce and stuff, and part of the grapevine looks like fell over there, growing along the backside. But hopefully all that organic matter will just really help increase the soil fertility. And I think I was mentioning, I went to dig the hole for that hardy kiwi, and the soil was just like no comparison to what it was just last year. And it wasn't great by any stretch of the imagination, but it actually looked healthy. And so that was really encouraging to see. Got some peas coming up right here. Got a nice pod right there. I think I got another hardy kiwi put in down there. And let's see if I can see anything else. I think this is the one I skipped with some of the other crops around it. Looks like one that pea in there maybe got cut from something. This peach tree is looking amazing. It's got tons of new growth. It's probably got 3 feet. That limb right there on the left it's probably about 4 feet already. It goes down to about, starts at about, actually a little bit below the wire there. Goes all the way up. There's lots of side branching coming out, really good filling in. You know, a lot of people would prune those out, but I'm really excited that the tree's thickening up. And as I've talked about in previous videos, just let the beneficial insects have a spot in there to, there was I think that was a spider egg sac right there, so hopefully some beneficial spiders. And the praying mantis, there was an egg case down there. It may already be gone for the year, but this tree is just really thriving here so far. Got lots of really good healthy side branches coming out. All the growth just looks super vigorous, and it looks like it's not planning on stopping anytime soon. So that's really good to see. Hopefully get some peaches off this tree next year, and we'd be really excited for that. Kind of looking at the water in the food forest. Go back this way. So I was talking about, and I think it was the last video, kind of this, can't really see it, but when I put in these mounds, there's a little kind of trench that's going along the outside. Can't really see it because it's covered with the grass and stuff now, but as you can see, it kind of goes downhill and it pools right here in this end one right there, and then it kind of overflows, and then there's this mini pool right here that it goes and overflows into. It's kind of like a little waterfall actually right there. And so it kind of goes down into this pool. This pool I haven't even completely finished yet, but it'll kind of fill up with water, and then it kind of overflows. It really doesn't have, it doesn't hold that much water because the goes right through there is the trench that comes out of that. And once it just really gets about 2 inches of water, it overflows into that, down to through that section kind of, and down through between those two trees into the pool that's over that way. We'll head over that way in just a minute, check that one out. Yeah, I forgot to mention there was a green bean, I think, coming up in here too. Yeah, this should be the green bean right there in the middle that's coming up. Fill in when some of the cooler weather crops tucker out. This peach tree's got the same thing, maybe about a handful of peaches left on it. Not much, but the same thing. It's looking really vigorous and happy compared to just last year with putting some soil around it and just letting a really diverse cover crop be growing around it. It's got a grapevine right here. It's a table grape, and then a hardy kiwi right over there planted alongside of it. It's just some perennials and a lot of wild stuff in there for sure. I don't see any other cultivated crops on this one, but it's looking really healthy so far, just compared to last year for sure. Looking really healthy growth. I think last year it's kind of about tuckering out about this time and done for the year, whereas these trees this year look like they're just finally getting going, so that's really encouraging. Head over, might as well walk through this pool just for the fun of it. I usually try not to walk through them to disturb the kind of life that's going on in them, but that one's not really done yet, so it's pretty much just a puddle. It's kind of fun to do that too. That's a little kid in me coming out. This is the peach tree from seed. It is looking also extremely healthy. That shoot right there on the left side of this one is also probably, it might be, it's really hard to tell, but it's probably at least 4 feet long already. Most of the shoots are about 3 feet long. Looking really good. As you can see, it's also looking healthy and happy. Got a lot of branching, side branching going on, and you can see the new ones are starting to form right at the top too. And the tops are keeping going, looking really happy. Got a hardy kiwi down beside these, down there. I think I just planted those the other day. This one's got a blueberry right here. This is the cherry tree. It's got the blueberry right here beside it, or in front of it, excuse me. There's a blackberry right there, looking good, coming up through the, trying to use the rabbit got to it, and so I've kind of pushed some of these other things back kind of on towards top of it, kind of protect it, because as you can see, like at least from this side, the sun will be coming about right here, so it'll get sun for about probably half the day. The sun you kind of see those leaves right there through it. As it gets over here, it gets a little bit thicker, but sun kind of probably comes, whoops, stepping in some more water. It still gets some light shade. If I focus on the leaves, that may actually help. It's kind of down there. It still gets kind of partial sun coming as the sun would come across that way. So these plants will kind of provide the protection, shade it a little bit, but also give it enough sunlight to where it should come up. As see, some of the other blackberries are really starting to come through and get some good growth on them, so that's good. Got a grapevine right there on that side. There's another hardy kiwi kind of right on that left side over there. The cherries are looking really healthy. The Japanese beetles are really starting to come out. I've seen them within just the past few days. You can see that up at the top. You can see the little tiny holes in the leaves. That's what the Japanese beetles are doing, but for the most part, as you can see, this tree is really there's one right in the act right there. Japanese beetle. But as you can see, the tree is really healthy. I think this one has kind of just temporarily paused. As you can see, it's not actively growing like some of the other trees we were looking at, but I think that is probably because it was kind of struggling last year, and it's just kind of literally soaking up the sun in its and storing up energy to get ready to kind of go through this hotter period, which can seem to be a harder time for the cherries, whereas the peach trees and the pomegranates and the figs that we've looked at so far, they kind of thrive on that, whereas the cherry kind of tends to thrive during this little bit cooler weather, or at least these variety of cherries. Excuse me, my voice is breaking. and so I think it's probably going to try to store up some energy and take another, try to make it through this time, and where the pests will get a little bit more intense for it, and hopefully it'll maybe even go through that quite well. Most of in previous years, the Japanese beetles and other stuff have eaten most of the leaves off of it by the end of the year, and sometimes it'll kind of put on a second flush of growth, but I'm hoping that due to the healthiness of these trees, with just adding the mounds and the healthy soil around it, in these sections it was mulched with the leaf mulch over the winter, and still there right now, so hopefully these trees will be able to do a lot better with the pests, and hopefully the Japanese beetles will come up and say, oh, a cherry tree, and then they'll get a taste, but then they'll have some of the cherry's defense systems mechanisms kind of repelling them away. So we'll see how that goes, and hopefully they'll do better this year, make it through this summer weather more unscathed. Got the other cherry over here. The blackberry on this one's actually quite a bit smaller. I may need to clear out around it. It's kind of down in there. It's actually kind of hard to see, but I may need to clear out around that one just until it gets a little bit bigger. Help it get going. You see a bird landed on the tip of that branch and probably broke it off. This one's looking really healthy too. Got lots of good growth. It looks like this one is about to start putting on some new growth. So it had paused too for a while. But as you can see, that bud tip right there looks like it's swelling and about to start growing again. So that's really encouraging. I can kind of see in a few other spots, it looks like the same thing's happening. And this is the plant that was growing with the blueberries. I've also kind of left it with the cherry too, kind of the same thing. The cherries and also the blueberries are one that struggle during this time of the year when it gets hotter and drier. So the cherries probably like it dry, but they probably don't like the severe heat and especially maybe the humidity that we get here. So I've kind of let this plant grow up alongside of it, kind of shade it, and just have something else growing alongside of it to help nurse it through this time. But I'm thinking with the it'll like its situation a lot better this year and hopefully not need that much help, so it'll be interesting to see. The pawpaw tree is really just exploding this year. It's really putting off a ton of new growth, by far the most it ever has. It's also got that new shoot that's coming up from the bottom. It's probably about 3 feet in length. Pawpaws kind of lean over, at least the ones that I've grown, for the neat new shoot, but then the shoot straightens up. You can see how straight that tree trunk is. They kind of lean over. The ones that I've grown, they look like that, and you think, oh, the tree's gonna grow, all crooked. But this one may a little bit because it's, kind of under the canopy of the main tree. But I would think that it'll probably straighten up quite a bit at least. And but it'll actually probably be good if that one does lean over so it can kind of come out into the sun a little bit more. But I may remove that and transplant it to somewhere else in the food forest and get another pawpaw tree from that. Still trying to decide on what to do for that. Head over here to the younger pawpaw. It's coming up good. Kind of paused its growth. It was a little bit hidden for most of the year last year, so it kind of probably struggled a little bit. But this year it's looking good. It's probably also storing up on some energy to hopefully put out some growth a little bit later on. Thanks for tuning into this part of the Food Forest Tours. I'll see you guys soon. Bye, guys.